Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news about Desawe Kanda. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale Beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey this evening. Attorney General files 85 documents as part of disclosures the prosecution will rely on in the criminal case of former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Boahene. We'll hear from his lawyer shortly, who says quality matters and not the quantity or the number of documents that the Attorney General files. We'll give you details on this particular one and the happenings here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 plus. Parliament summons Labour Employment Minister over termination of appointments in the public sector. We'll cross over to Parliament shortly. The Labour Minister is there, Rashid Pelpo, answering questions from the members of Parliament. Also, an overnight raid at the Office of the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. We'll tell you exactly what happened. Stay with us. Hospital mortuaries overwhelmed by increased number of cops as nurses' strike continues to bite. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, and we'll touch base with the happenings in court as the Supreme Court overturns the contempt conviction of Akwetia Member of Parliament Ernest Komi. Stay with us, plus this and the latest in the world of business and sports over the next 1 hour 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's settle for a summary of the news now. And Christabel Success-Trevor is here.
Has stated that the government cannot implement all demands and the new conditions of service proposed by striking nurses and midwives. He expressed concern that meeting certain entitlements such as license renewal costs could set unsustainable precedents across the health sector. The minister emphasized that while not every demand will be met, the government remains committed to improving working conditions. He called for patience as the government works to balance professional needs with broader national priorities. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has declined to refer Dr. Nana Ayu Afriye to the Privileges Committee following tensions over an urgent statement on the ongoing nurses' strike. The clash on June 10 arose after First Deputy Speaker Bernard Ahiafo blocked Dr. Afriye's request and ordered his ejection from the chamber, sparking protests from minority MPs. Bagbin acknowledged the seriousness of the strike, but criticized Afriye for bypassing procedural norms. He emphasized that parliamentary rules must be respected, though no formal disciplinary action was taken. Now, Presidential Advisor for Governmental Affairs, Dr. Valerie Esther Sawyer, has called on the Electoral Commission, EC, to rerun elections at 62 polling stations in Ablekuma North, citing flawed collation processes. She challenged the legitimacy of the results and rejected the EC's claim that all parties had accepted scanned pink sheets. In a strong statement, she warned that peace in the area depends on electoral justice. Dr. Sawyer urged the EC to uphold democratic standards and restore public trust by rerunning the affected polls. Finally, President John Dramani Mahama has announced that the Tema and Takoradi ports will soon operate 24 hours a day as part of his administration's 24-hour economy initiative. The move aims to enhance trade efficiency, reduce delays, and attract greater investment. Speaking at the 2025 Horticulture Expo, President Mahama emphasized that the initiative goes beyond longer hours, focusing on building the necessary infrastructure for continuous operations. He described it as a strategic effort to position Ghana as a major trade hub in West Africa.
First of all, thank you very much. There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions are welcome. And stay with us. We're getting to the issues right now. We're going to cross over quickly to Parliament, where the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Rashid Pelpo, is answering questions on the termination of appointments in the public sector, among some other related matters. And he's been also responding to some foreign companies and the reports of they not adhering to the labor laws in this country.
Employees that have grievances, apart from the court and the Labour Commission, is there any other forum or avenue that the ministry have created to help or aid some of these breaches, to resolve their issues?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
The required agency required to resolve labor issues is the Labor Commission. We rely heavily on that. It has elements of some legal processes, very genuine legal processes, which can end in fair arbitrary discussion, arbitrations. So I believe that is sufficient. Yeah, where you fail there, then the court may take action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, yes, Honorable John Darko.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Minister, please, in the course of your duties, have you come across these foreign companies that have violated the rights of Ghanaians to the extent that they don't pay them the required overtime hourly wage? And what have you done about it, if you have come across any such company?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, not in recent times. There is a history of it. And if you want to know specifically where the history is coming from, maybe we can research. Recent times, we haven't had any of that. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable members, I think we've done enough with Honorable Minister for Labor, Jobs and Employment. Honorable Member, on behalf of the House, let me thank you for attending upon the House to respond to your own colleagues. You are hereby discharged. Let me now invite Honorable Minister for Defense.
It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W93.5 in Y and beyond. It's a live coverage of parliamentary proceedings today. Next, after the Labour and Employment Relations Minister, that is Rashid Pelpo. Next is the Defense Minister. Dr. Edward Maneboama is going to answer some questions from members of Parliament regarding happenings within the defense sector. And so stay with us. We'll just get some brief reports of what he will be saying in Parliament in response to questions to be posed to him. So stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W93.5 in Y and beyond. The first member of Parliament to ask the Defense Minister a question is Reverend Tim Fodio. He's on his feet right now. Let's cross over to Parliament and hear him.
For the Ghana Armed Forces, following the appointment of a Brigadier General 1-star as Acting Chief of Staff, Acting Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, respectfully, you may take the podium.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to appear before the August House of Parliament to respond to the question asked by the Honourable Member of Parliament of Ascent South. Honourable John Intim Fodio seeks to understand the rationale behind the termination of all 15 Major Generals 2-star and equivalent and above in the command of the Ghana Armed Forces following the appointment of a Brigadier General 1-star as Acting Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces. Mr. Speaker, within the constraints of confidentiality and secrecy that guide the Ministry of Defense, I proceed to specifically respond. Mr. Speaker, in answering this question regarding rationale, I'll draw on three themes: the purpose of the Ghana Armed Forces, precedence within the Ghana Armed Forces, and regulatory framework. Mr. Speaker, following my appointment as a Minister for Defense by the President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we have striven to implement measures aimed at improving service efficiency of the Ghana Armed Forces. Touching on precedence, Mr. Speaker, in pursuing service efficiency, we relied on the time-tested precedence that has ensured the sustainability of the Fourth Republic. As an illustration, and let me emphasize that Major Generals are released at age 63 and Lieutenant Generals are released at age 65. In 2001, after a change of government, 6 Major Generals and 4 Lieutenant Generals were released from the Ghana Armed Forces with their ages running from 56 to 62. In 2005, there were 7 Major Generals. Mr. Speaker, in this instance, none of them were near their compulsory retiring age of 63 in the Ghana Armed Forces. All of them were released. All of them were released, unlike in our case, where some have been maintained and are serving in valued and enviable capacities presently. It is instructive to note that when all the 7 Major Generals were released in 2005, a Brigadier General was appointed as the Chief of the Defense Staff, 2005. Coincidentally, the Brigadier General and I belong to the same secondary school, Pope John Secondary School and Junior Seminary. In 2009, after another change of government, there were 6 Major Generals. Similarly, all of them were released, and a Brigadier General was appointed as the Chief of the Defense Staff. I'm skipping to the need, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Minister, Speaker, go ahead. Let me be abundantly clear. Even though Reverend John Intim Fojo alludes to the termination of all 15 Major Generals, 2-star and equivalent, I must state that the Honorable Member of Parliament for Asin South got his question wrong. Respectfully, if the wrong question is not corrected, it can mislead the public since the cameras are here. Here are the facts. 8 Major Generals, 2-star, had reached the point to commence their terminal leave pending compulsory retirement. 8. 4 Major Generals, 2-star, aged between 60 and 62 years, are to be released prior to their mandatory retirement age of 63, in accordance with Ghana Armed Forces regulations and precedents. Mr. Speaker, let me add, out of the 8 who had reached their 63, Major General Alvini Aite, who is among the 8, is being sponsored in the rank of Lieutenant General to compete for the high office of Military Advisor, Office of the Military Affairs of the Department of Peace Operations at the Assistant Secretary General level at the United Nations headquarters in New York, USA. Mr. Speaker, this means altogether 12 Major Generals, out of which 8 were due for their terminal leave prior to compulsory retirement, will be released from the service sometime in December 2025 end January 2026, save for Major General Alvin Aiti being appointed at the UN. Mr. Speaker, in the spirit of transparency and accountability, I wish to account for the whereabouts of the 3 Major Generals, because the Honourable Member of Parliament mentioned 15. I have mentioned 8 who had gotten to the 63 compulsory retirement age, and also the other number that takes you to 12. What this means is that you must account for the 3 that makes the 15. And 1, Major General Robert Afram is serving currently as Deputy Force Commander, United Nations Mission in South Sudan, UNMISS. 2, Major General Anita Asma is also serving currently as Force Commander, United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF. And 3, Air Vice Marshal Felix Asante has been appointed as the acting president, National Defense University in Ghana. Regarding the framework, Mr. Speaker, I respectfully submit that the Commander-in-Chief is mandated by Article 212 of the 1992 Constitution to appoint the Chief of the Defense Staff and Service Chiefs acting in consultation with the Council of State. I'm happy to report that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama complied with the mandate. And as already posited, precedents in both 2005 and 2009 supports the appointment of a Brigadier General as the Chief of the Defense Staff. Mr. Speaker, let us bear in mind that the current Chief of the Defense Staff is in the same intake as the immediate past Chief of Air Staff, who is a 3-star general, and his immediate predecessor, Chief of Air Staff, who was a 2-star general. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, let me assure that this process to release the generals is rooted in the relevant regulatory and historical framework of the Ghana Armed Forces to promote service efficiency as we reset Ghana and work with patriotic zeal to continue to implement measures that will safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our dear nation, Ghana, secure our democracy, and ensure the protection of life and property. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Intim Fodjo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the minister's own response...
Please, let's listen to him. Yes, Honorable Intim Fodjo.
Given the minister's own response and reference to history, he has admitted and conceded that indeed this number of terminated generals is unprecedented. Now, the follow-up question is, couldn't the Commander-in-Chief have avoided the huge financial loss to the state in terms of gratuities to be paid, in terms of training invested into the terminated generals, many of whom have even up to 2 years to retirement?
Honorable members, why can't we be tolerant?
Couldn't the Commander-in-Chief have avoided the huge financial loss to the state, given the unprecedented number of discharged and terminated generals, per his own records, 10 in 2001, 7 in 2005, and 6 in 2009. This number, per his own submission, is unprecedented. Couldn't the Commander-in-Chief have avoided huge financial loss to the states in terms of gratuity?
Well. Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member of Parliament is inviting the Commander-in-Chief to insist that even when generals have attained the mandatory retirement age, they should still be kept. I have submitted here that out of the 12, 8 had reached that threshold. That That is the reality on the ground. And this is why, Mr. Speaker, when I gave a similar briefing to the Committee on Defense, Interior and Security, I cautioned that let us be cautious about the kinds of things that we discuss in the public domain regarding defense, security, and interior. The fact is, all 15 generals, 2-star and above, have not been released from the Ghana Armed Forces, as your question alluded. 8 had reached the compulsory retirement age, and they've been processed for their terminal leaves pending release. Only 4 will fall in the category that you are mentioning. And I've also stated here and now that three of them, okay, 1 has been appointed by this administration as the acting president of the National Defense University. 2 are serving with the UN. This is what we refer to as ensuring service efficiency, which is a rationale. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Intimfojo.
Mr. Speaker, the press release by the Ghana Armed Forces dated 30th April 2025 on resumption of general releases of soldiers in the Ghana Armed Forces defeats the assertion just made by the minister regarding the mandatory, and I read, and I quote, the Ghana Armed Forces wishes to formally announce to the general public that it will resume the release of soldiers. Oh, no, Mr. Speaker.
It's alive here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Y and beyond. We've been listening to Dr. Edward Omanebwama, the Defense Minister, answering questions on the 15 generals of the Ghana Armed Forces who were earlier this year. And according to the question that was asked by the Member of Parliament, that is the Reverend Intimfojo, concerning these 15 army generals, the Minister in charge of Defense has been breaking down exactly what really this is about, and not the question as was put by Reverend Intimfojo that these 15 army generals were released of their position in the Ghana Armed Forces, the top hierarchy of the Ghana Armed Forces. He says 8 of them out of the 15 are on compulsory retirement. They're being processed as we speak for terminal leave and pending their release. They have not been released as yet. Only 4 of them out of the 15 have been released. 1 has been appointed to the National Defense University by this administration, and 2 are serving in the United Nations. So we'll be monitoring a lot more of what's happening in Parliament here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. But earlier today, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford-Babin, said he will not prefer disciplinary charges against members of Parliament who were involved in the chaos in the House yesterday. You recall that the First Deputy Speaker was presiding over the business of the House yesterday, instructed the Marshal of Parliament to remove the Honorable Ayuefriye from Parliament. The minority MPs prevented the Marshal from doing his work. The Speaker said he's not going to take disciplinary action. Why is that?
Yes, because tensions ran high in Ghana's parliament on Tuesday as proceedings descended into chaos following an argument between the minority and the first deputy speaker, Mr. Bernard Ahiafo, over a statement on the ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. A ranking member of the Health Committee, Dr. Ayu Afriye, insisted on addressing the House on the nurses' industrial action despite Mr. Ahiafo's refusal to admit the statement. The situation escalated when the first deputy speaker ordered the Marshal to remove Dr. Afriye from the chamber, triggering uproar among minority members of parliament. However, this stance didn't deter Dr. Ayu Afriye and the minority MPs who protested vehemently. The chaos forced the speaker to adjourn proceedings Wednesday at 4 amid disruptions and heated exchanges between members. Here are excerpts of proceedings in the House today when Speaker Kwabena took seat.
The statement arises from what happened yesterday when I yielded the chair to the first Deputy Speaker to preside. The House ended not too well, and it's a matter of serious public concern. Even for us in the House, we are getting too worried about how things are going. And so I intend to make this statement and to give opportunity to your leaders to make comments. Honorable members, yesterday, Tuesday, 10th June 2025, I had cause to remind members about compliance with the Constitution and the standing orders of Parliament on undertaking or taking offices of profit with the approval of the Speaker. In that statement, I reminded members of my intention to ensure strict compliance with the constitutional and procedural rules which govern the House. I find it quite unfortunate, and I actually condemn it, that on the same day, members of the House will seek to show blatant disregard for the rules of the House by flagrant disrespect of the speakership in the presence of the maize. The maize is the authority of the House, and when it is upright there, you dare not disobey it.
That's the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Kwabena. There, you're also live here on Hot Tradition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. And on this particular chaos that ensued in Parliament, the Executive Director of the Parliamentary Network of Africa and governance expert, that is Professor Abdullahi, did not mince words on describing the chaos as becoming one too many with this Parliament, and indicated that that is affecting the image of Parliament.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I have no intention of...
He could have used his discretion to say, okay, you have the right to speak, but make it brief. Now, it is the latter part that I really do not appreciate, and I think it is belittling of Parliament. First, when the marshals came in, I think the fact that they threw chairs in their way and they were acting rowdy, to me, is not on for lawmakers and leaders. That is the only part, really, I don't think is right. In fact, I think I saw the minority leader, wave them to come and, wave them to get up. it was more like urging an on. If you are urging people on, I mean, it can bring about chaos, and we really don't want chaos. We want people to disagree amicably. So that is the only part of this situation that I really don't think was, in my opinion, right. I looked at it and I think it shouldn't have been. But I think the first deputy speaker sometimes should make sure that you balance some of these things and bring a little bit of maturity in and say, okay, go ahead, make your statement. But
as Professor David Abdullahi there, let's cross over to the new patriotic party and matters related to its chairman in the Ashanti region, Benadenchi Boesiako, also known as Wontumi. What's the latest on this?
Yes, Alfred, senior figures within the new patriotic party, NPP, are reportedly preparing to pay a formal visit to President John Dramani Mahama to offer an apology on behalf of the party's Ashanti regional chairman, Benadenchi Boesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. The disclosure was made by the ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Dr. Nana Ufriye, during an interview. Chairman Wontumi is currently under investigation by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, for alleged financial offenses, including fraud and money laundering. Dr. Ufriye suggested that President Mahama may be orchestrating the legal actions against the MPP official, asserting that the matter extends beyond the purview of the EOCO and the intelligence service.
Let's go on to the telephone right now. Adam Senanu is the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Senanu, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
I mean, how does it strike you, hearing that senior figures within the new Patriotic Party are reportedly preparing to pay a formal visit to the president to offer an apology on behalf of Chairman Wontumi because of all of this investigation going on with the EOCO?
Ordinarily, this kind of thinking and approach should not even be, I don't know what word to be used, should not be countenanced. If there are issues of fact and evidence, you expect that the institutions of state will investigate and tell all of us that there is no case or there is a case. The president is not expected to have any influence. He's not supposed to be the one who has triggered or initiated anything. And as far as we are aware, if we take the Chairman Wontumi cases, which started from the Akonta mining under their own tenure, these are things that are facts within the public space. So I can't begin to understand why anybody would think that a visit and an apology, that would undermine good governance. If we suddenly took the approach that when institutions of state say there are substantive issues they're investigating and you must answer, then you go and see the president, and the president does what? Gives you forgiveness or clemency, and that should stop the institutions from investigating. I'm very surprised at this approach, and I don't think it is the way to go. I don't think it will set the right kind of precedent.
Now, you talk about if not that not even coming up at all for consideration. And then again, you hear the context in which he posted that, in his view, the hand behind this whole matter is bigger than the people who run the EOCO and the intelligence agencies. And for him, he puts all of this investigation into Wontumi and the latest we've seen at the doorstep squarely of President Mahama. And then consider that indeed Chairman Wontumi's actions ahead of the 2024 elections were inappropriate, and some of the issues that we've seen under investigation right now. But then to that extent, because he put it right before the president's doorstep, he would rather the party looks at the option of paying the president a formal visit to, as it were, apologize to him. How about that?
I think it's a bit misconstrued. Look, if Chairman Wontumi publicly made statements that are known, that apology, if it was worth rendering, and he believed it ought to have been rendered, should have been provided long ago. It is not when the agencies of state are saying that we have found substantive material issues of graft against you, and we need you to answer the questions. And the obvious conclusion of it would be the evidence is actually factual, and therefore you must face the rigors of the law, or they are unfactual and they let you go. These have nothing to do with any insults or rudeness to the presidency. So I don't see the connection between the two. If they want to do an apology, all fair and good. But where is the connection between that and agencies of state saying we have found evidence that suggests you've breached the law, or you've engaged in actions that demonstrate that you are engaged in businesses that are fraudulent or that are leveraging resources that are criminal? I mean, whatever it is, these investigations must be concluded. You would be confronted with the facts, have an opportunity to deny and prove your innocence, and move on. What has that got to do with the president? So I see this as two separate issues. This kind of speculation that the president's long hand, it is speculative to the extent that the agencies have given specific facts. What we need to hear is these elders engaging around the facts that have been put in the public domain and saying that Chairman to me has demonstrated that based on this evidence is not true. Deal with the facts, confront them together with the individual, and let everybody know that yes, this is it, and let him go and clear himself.
But then he says that, and you acknowledge, yes, that certain statements, politically motivated statements, Chairman has made or did make ahead of the elections in 2024. That's the basis for this member of parliament's position that he takes on it. UFRA says that to the extent that Chairman went overboard in some of his videos and the attacks on the president, who was candidate then, he played a lot of them to him, and told him that they would have to go and beg if they have to kneel down in front of the president, and they'll tell him that for all of these videos, crossed the line and he has to be forgiven.
I would be surprised if our president even wants or expects anybody to come and kneel in front of him, and the interpretation or implication that would have for good governance in the country. I don't think the president would want that to happen, because if anything happens and people suspect that there are certain crimes that have been committed and an individual has been exonerated or left off the hook because he came to kneel down, that would be extremely unfortunate. So these are two separate matters. If there was some insult and somebody wants to apologize, and the apology is worth making, it should be rendered, and it should in fact have been rendered long ago, not within the context of this set of events. If there is factual evidence which the state agencies responsible for graft are seized with, and they can clearly see that an individual has been engaged in activities that are criminal and that ought to be investigated, please, let's not begin to connect that set of events to insults or whatever that was made. I don't see the connection. I don't see how the president comes in here. The institutions of state that are investigating are the ones you can question. Are these facts real or not? The person at the center of it is the one you need to question.
Well, we'll see how the coming days will be on this matter. But Mr. Ano, stay with me, because there's another matter which I know you as an anti-corruption crusader has taken a lot of interest in over the period, and that has to do with the strategic mobilization limited, the SML contract with the GRA for the management of upstream revenue in that particular sector. It's a subject of investigation for the special prosecutor. One of 5 reasons why the former finance minister, Kenneth Anaya-Foyata, is under investigation by the special prosecutor, declared wanted, listed on the Interpol Red List as we speak on his website, despite the concerns that the purported family letter raised earlier this week. But OSP conducted a search at the office of SML. And Christabel, what do we know?
Yes, fraud and security consultant Richard Komado has defended the overnight search of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML. According to him, much of the evidence could be digital, hence the search. Personnel from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, with support from the National Security Secretariat, have conducted a coordinated search on the offices of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The operation, which took place on Tuesday, is part of an ongoing investigation into a controversial contract valued at over $500 million. The simultaneous searches were carried out at the company's offices in Osu and Tema under the authority of a court-issued search warrant. Sources familiar with the operation told 3 Business that the Special Prosecutor's Office is in the advanced stages of its probe and is focusing on retrieving electronic evidence from SML's servers. The SML contract is among a number of deals under scrutiny as the OSP investigates suspected financial irregularities linked to former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
Marzano, so the company in question has strongly condemned what this whole search, what it described as an unwarranted and unjustified raid by the Office of Special Prosecutor, which it claims threatens the continuity of a critical national revenue assurance system.
Unless, of course, they think that the OSP have gone outside their mandate, I'm not quite sure what they are talking about. The fact of the matter is Act 959 empowers the OSP to do what they have done. And I think that the sooner we begin to embrace the fact that they are anti-graft agencies whose responsibility includes these surprise swoops. We seem to have fallen in love with the word raid. So now raid is a trending word. But I think it's just a visit to make sure that the data gathering portion of the investigation is satisfied. And if there's evidence they need and they find it, it will be used and available, and they will also have the chance to either deny it or accept it, and then our progress goes on. So I really don't see what the fuss is about the OSP doing its task and simultaneously, getting into their premises and picking up whatever information. They are mandated and empowered to do that, and so this is part of what we have decided as Ghanaians is necessary to ensure that we don't have individuals, groups, and institutions robbing the purse of the state or defrauding or exploiting us.
Zeno, I appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much.
And thank you too for having me.
Adam Senano is the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption there. Let's go to the courts now, shall we?
Yes, we shall. And Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Sremsai has filed 85 documents as part of disclosures the prosecution will rely on in the criminal case of former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Boahene and 2 others. High Court has adjourned the case to June 26 for defense lawyers to file their witness statements and also for the continuation of the case management conference. Lead counsel for the former National Signals Bureau Director Samuel Atachia says he is unfazed by the volume of disclosures filed by the prosecution. It's about quality, not quantity, he says.
Well, so far, they filed a whole mountainous list of documents. You're taking time to look at it. I hold the humble view that it is not the full thing because they are supposed to file exculpatory evidence. What does that mean? All the documents that will aid the accused should be filed as well. And that is clear by Supreme Court decision. So, what we've looked at, we filed a motion that some more disclosures will be made to aid the accused person. It hasn't at all. And I don't want to run commentary on it. It's not how much you file, but the quality of what you file. And whether what you file will incriminate the accused persons. That is what is critical. You can file to all manner of documents. And whether they are incriminatory in nature, it's what the court will have to assess. If I should file a motion that they should bring the exculpatory evidence, and they don't want to bring it, and the court doesn't order they should bring it, that will stall the trial. And the date is fixed that it's going to be the day for the trial. See, because the judge is also required by law to give facilities and time to the accused person so they prepare their defense. Discriminatory in nature is what the court will have to assess. If I should file a motion that they should bring the exculpatory evidence and they don't want to bring it, and the court doesn't order they should bring it, that will stall the trial. And the date is fixed that it's going to be the day for the trial. See, because the judge is also required by law to give facilities and time to the accused person so they prepare their defense.
A similar touch on there. And we'll come back to the story, but to the nurses and midwives strike, which is taking a toll on a daily basis on health facilities in this country. What's the latest on this?
The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says it is ready to address the concerns of striking nurses and midwives within 3 days if they agree to return to the negotiation table. Speaking exclusively to our Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku, the Commission's Chief Executive, Dr. George Smith Graham, appealed to the health workers to call off their strike and engage in dialogue. Meanwhile, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, has thrown its support behind the nurses and midwives, backing their ongoing industrial action. The ongoing strike by over 128,000 nurses and midwives across the country has taken the devastating
arrangements
toll on
between
healthcare
strategic
delivery.
mobilization
Several
Ghana
patients
Limited
have reportedly lost their lives, while many others are struggling to access critical care in the absence of frontline health workers. Despite multiple rounds of negotiations between the government and the leadership of striking health professionals, no agreement has been reached so far. In a desperate bid to contain the crisis, the government has appealed to retired nurses and midwives to volunteer their services. However, this move has sparked discontent and frustration among some retirees who feel sidelined and disrespected. Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. George Smith Graham, has expressed concern over the ongoing industrial action. He is urging the nurses and midwives to return to the negotiation table, assuring them that their grievances could be resolved within 3 days if they do so.
And also the Health Minister, Kwabena, has been detailing what efforts had gone into getting the nurses back to the negotiation table. He spoke on the Sunrise Morning Show earlier today on what the progress has been so far. Take a listen.
If you look at my engagement, any worker in this country, the right to go on demonstration. That law also says that you must obey rulings of court. Now, when this strike was declared, a roadmap was declared, to me, quickly, I called the leadership. I said, look, this route is not the best route. And therefore, let's call off the strike and then still continue to engage. So we find lasting solution to the challenge.
What did they say?
Now, they proceeded with a strike. And then the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and Labour Commission were all invited. At the time, I am so pained to announce to you that immediately the leadership declared the strike, they left the country. They were not available for engagement.
As a health minister, Kwabena Minta Akando there. And as the strike intensifies, mortuaries across the country are overwhelmed with dead bodies. Mortuary workers are now threatening that if the strike continues, they may be forced to direct families to send their bodies to police stations. Now, as mortuary facilities may soon reach full capacity. Now, we can now engage the member of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana, Eben Amankwa. Ms. Amankwa, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Eben Amankwa, we lost him on the telephone. We'll try to raise him back here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions are welcome at 3FM 927. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. And for many who have been looking at the impact of this particular strike and what has to be done going forward to address the concerns of the strike, has been a fundamental concern that for Austin Game is a labor expert. He's indicated that there has to be a solution going forward that will serve both sides and also in the interest of the general public.
It makes sense for the employer, which is government also, to be mindful and take remedial actions to enable some restoration to be made, albeit partially, once we engage in a conversation. Indeed, conversation defines the quality of the relationship between labor and management. And therefore, what is to be done at the table is about conversational. In fact, that's what our labor law enjoins us to do, to have a conversation around the subject matter under, consideration. So I will urge, I am an empathizer of the situation. I share the concerns the nurses are raising. Equally, the employer has a concern. The employer is barely 6 months old. And I agree that you could do it in 1 day, but that is subject to funding available. And if they agree that they're going to pay them, at the end of the month, they are unable to pay them, they are deceiving them. So it makes sense for both parties to go to the table, have a conversation about the subject matter under consideration, and resolve it. They can resolve it. Indeed, you cannot do away with the law. The law says the standards and the processes to be gone through. That's why when there is a matter like this, and I have variously said it, I'm a teacher of it, and I do know that the law demands that should you even reach agreement and sign onto it, and the employer is unable to implement for 1 or 2 reasons, both parties are to go to table.
Osengame is a labor expert. Now let's engage Eben Amankwa. He is a member of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana. Mr. Amankwa, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
I thank you. You are welcome.
Now, are you able to confirm this for us that over the last few days that this strike has been ongoing, there's been an increased number of dead bodies being brought to the mortuaries?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's true. The death has been increased because of nurses. This thing, so it's very hard. It's very, very, very hard. We are finding it difficult in our various mortuaries.
I see, but paint to me the situation and give me details on a daily basis. How do you deal with this situation of the increase in the dead bodies as you're talking about?
Oh, actually, I can't give you the figures because our work is private and confidential. By giving the number of people so that the people to be very shocked. So what I can say is that it has been increased. Actually, it has been increased compared to the previous one. If it is rare, right now we are about to get about 5. So it has been increased.
And so what do you want to be done about this particular development of you having to deal with more dead bodies over the last few days?
Oh, thank you. We are appealing to the authorities, especially the government, to come to the aid of nurses because life, once somebody lost his or her life, there's nothing we can do to bring the person back. So we are appealing to the authorities to come to their aid, help them so that they can come back to work as early as possible because it's very serious. The old age, children, the pregnancy woman, it's so much. So we are appealing to them that they should sit down and solve the problem once and for all.
So, what are some of the challenges that you are faced with as mortuary workers because of this?
Oh, because right now we have so many mortuaries. It's not like the olden time where mortuary are very few. But right now we have private mortuary and others. So most of them send theirs to private and others. So it's not like way back where we the people, the dead body comes there very plenty. Right now, we have so many private mortuaries. So some send theirs to private mortuaries. Yeah.
But the private mortuaries, obviously, the cost will be high, expensive. So you have a lot more people coming to the state-supported mortuaries. And that's why you're having this increased number of bodies to deal with.
Yeah, actually it's true. Their cost is very high, but there's nothing they can do than send them to them, because that body, you can't keep it anywhere unless you go to private mortuary or mortuary. We know it's very costly, but there's nothing they can do about it.
So, Amankwa, thank you very much for joining us. She's a member of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana. Eben Amankwa, there.
Alfred, this is quite a sad one, because there's an update we have to follow up on, because a young woman believed to be in her early 20s who was fatally shot around on Tuesday in Seke, a suburb of the Pro East districts in the Bono region. Her supposed boyfriend is implicated in the shooting, which occurred during her visit to the village with him and his two friends. The victim sustained a gunshot wound to her left arm. Police intercepted their vehicle, which was reportedly fleeing the scene, and rushed her to the St. Martin's Hospital in Yeji. Tragically, she succumbed to her injuries shortly after arriving at the hospital. The alleged culprit, Hayford Boateng, 31-year-old, identified as their supposed boyfriend, has been taken into custody. His two friends, Kojo Emmanuel, who's 28, and Michael Kabute, who's 34, who were present during the incident, are also being held by the Yeji Police Command to assist with the ongoing investigation.
Well, let's stay a bit further on this particular one, and thankfully we have our regional correspondent who's been following this for us here on Hot Edition and on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale. Belinda Tete is connecting with us. Belinda, what's the latest on this particular incident?
Right. So we have been actually trying to get in touch with the police command, but all my efforts to futile. But I'm still on standby and waiting for a contact to get in touch with the police command to know how far, as to whether the culprits are still with the police or whether they've been billed, or what is the next update on the issue. So I'm still following up on it. Haven't gotten any updates yet. But I'm still following up on it.
Are you able to confirm to us that this gentleman who is identified as the supposed boyfriend of the deceased, Hayford Boateng, his two friends, Kojo Emmanuel and Michael Kabute, are also in police custody as we speak?
Yes. As we speak, they are still in police custody. They are assisting the police with investigation, because they were the culprits. I mean, they were the ones with the lady, and then the supposed boyfriend who shot the lady. So they have been held, they have been apprehended by the police to assist them with investigation.
Belinda, appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much for joining us. Belinda Tete is a correspondent in the Bono region, giving us updates on this. You're still live here on Hot Edition. We're back with the business news. Bismarck will start standing by after this quick break. Stay with us.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year, and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business news on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this evening, Ghana's economy records 5.3% growth in first quarter of 2025, surpassing last year's 4.9% as services and agriculture sectors lead the recovery. Thanks for your company. I am Bismarck Ausa. Now to the details. Ghana's economy demonstrated strong performance in the first quarter of 2025, expanding by a significant 5.3%. This marks an improvement from the 4.9% growth rate recorded in the same period of 2024, according to the latest data released by the Ghana Statistical Service. Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu attributed this growth primarily to the robust expansion observed in both the services and agriculture sectors,
which constitute about 92% of agricultural value-added production, grew at 6.7%, contributed the most to the growth of the sector of the subsectors. The growth in the services sector was dominated by a number of subsectors, including information and communication, which actually registered the highest growth of 13.1% and contributed the most to growth. In fact, its contribution to growth was 0.84 percentage points to the overall growth of services. But we also saw some good progress in terms of growth in transport and storage, which grew by 8.6%, and trade, repair of vehicles and household, which grew by 7.1%.
And that was government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu. Now, the Director General of the West African Gas Pipeline Authority, Shafara Hanawa, is urging governments within the sub-region to adopt more flexible, investor-friendly gas regulations to unlock the region's energy potential. Speaking at the 2025 West Africa Gas Summit in Accra, she said reforms are key to driving industrial growth, cutting costs, and attracting private capital, outcomes that could directly benefit Ghana's push to expand gas use in power generation and manufacturing.
The development of our gas markets will require hybrid models, ones that combine local insights with international standards. That is how we ensure sustainability. That is how we ensure inclusion. To support this transformation, we must continue to evolve our regulatory framework. At WACPA, we understand that gas is a global commodity, and the regulatory environment must be agile, competitive, and investment-friendly. The goal is not just compliance. The goal is to attract capital, drive down costs, and create certainty for investors and end users alike, especially in the industrial sector, which we see as the engine of regional development.
Shafara Hanawa is Director General of the West African Gas Pipeline Authority. Meanwhile, Executive Secretary of the Gas Consortium, Senang Behu, said the West African Gas Pipeline Authority's strategic partnership seeks to galvanize private sector unity and investor confidence for transformative growth in the region's gas sector.
The significance of having WACPA as not only a sponsor but a strategic partner for WACS cannot be overstated. This partnership embodies the strength and collaboration needed to propel our region's gas sector forward. Given WACPA's critical role in regulating and managing gas infrastructure across West Africa, their support lends us the regulatory backbone essential to fostering investor confidence and attracting the capital required for large-scale gas projects. We could not have found a more committed and capable ally for this ambitious mission. As we embark on this journey over the coming days, the conversations we will engage in are both timely and necessary. They have been carefully structured to ensure that the private sector which plays a pivotal role in the development and commercialization of gas resources, is empowered to constitute a unified bloc. This bloc will have the strength and clarity to convey to all stakeholders, governments, investors, and communities the vast potential for business activity in the gas sector. This in turn will bolster the public sector's objectives, which transcend economics and reach into the very heart of socio-economic transformation for our region.
And that was Executive Secretary of the Gas Consortium, Senam Behu, ending business news on Hot Edition with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, it's3news.com. Thanks for your company.
Tunes in sync with a soothing voice. 3 Lounge with AJ.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Need a break from the stress and chaos of everyday life? Well, step into the 3 Lounge, your world of absolute relaxation and great music with yours truly, AJ Akwako Sapon. Welcome to the best mid-morning show in the capital and beyond. This is 3 Lounge, yours truly, your radio princess, AJ Akwako Sapon.
Love it. I love it. It's great.
Kickstart your week with Monday motivation. Shake off the Tuesday blues and get ready for midweek mania. Take a trip down memory lane on Throwback Thursday and wrap up the week with Funky Friday with myself and Helen Apia Ampufo. Plus, enjoy exciting celebrity interviews, insightful conversation, engaging discussions on topics that matter, and there's a boatload of fun and easy activations that reward and appreciate you, our loyal listener.
If you are listening, we're manifesting money into your pocket this morning.
Amen. Don't miss out on the excitement. Tune in to 3 Lounge every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with AJ Akwako Sapon, only on 3FM 92.7.
It's my number one.
92.7 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
3 a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday, from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, heatical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire,
Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Get
On Hot Edition on DFM 92.7. My name is Oreku Ampofo. And let's start off from Ghanaian football administrator Samir Nimado, who has launched a scathing critique of the current football state, especially accusing the Football Association of neglecting and ruining youth football structures in the country. Nimado, who has a long history of working with young talent and is known for managing top Ghanaian footballers, says urgent reforms are needed to restore the pipeline for the future of the Black Stars.
Taking away talent development. Personal interest is taking away talent development. Greed is taking away talent development. And then too many vampires in the system. Vampires in what sense? People who don't know jack about the game. But just because they've seen that somebody has taken a player to Europe, they hear that, oh, he will earn this money, so he also wants to do it. But instead of him going to learn the trade, he won't learn. Straight away, you see him saying, okay, me too, I'm managing this. I want to take this boy to here. And most of them don't know the rudiments of preparing the boy for the European market. And the coaches too, that we have, some of them too. I remember I heard one of the coaches say, yes, most of the coaches are doing the same thing. So most of the coaches don't add value that needs to be added for the modern game. The game is changing, the science in the game is changing, the technique, the technicalities, so many things are changing, the psychology, so many things are changing in the game. But most of our coaches are not catching up. They are way back. And some of us too, in leadership too, are becoming too self-centered. Because you see a player that has talent that needs to be given a chance, but because of selfishness and greed, they won't give that boy a chance. That they'll go and give somebody who is closer to the people who have power. And you see, and this is affecting. And we've done that 20 people. Some people see it as the cash cow. They have to make money. And some of the coaches too. You see, that's what I'm saying. This is a huge question. It's been bothering me. But you see, sometimes we need to talk about it. If we don't become a little selfless, if we don't become a little more committed to the cause, and it's always sometimes, oh, my friend, sometimes I heard some things about some players that were dropped. I was shocked. I can't say it. That you were dropped because of A, B, C, D. You were dropped because you took a picture with somebody. The player is told that. You are dropped because you don't belong to some group. These things will destroy our game. And in fact, football in the world is even being affected with it.
And so that was Ghanaian football administrator Sami Enim Ado speaking, and 2-3 Sports exclusively there. But let's do some more stories and head to international football because England did suffer a rather disappointing 3-1 defeat to Senegal in a friendly game. It was the first time in 22 matches that the Three Lions were losing to an opponent from Africa. Harry Kane, who is the captain of the side, believes that the team is going through a transition period since Gareth Southgate's departure after the Euros, but said that there's little time to get things right with the World Cup just within a year away.
Yeah, well, we're not going to panic, but for sure we know that we need to be better. So there's some ideas that are new for the guys. We have new players coming into the team who haven't got experience at international level. So there's a mixture of things, but it's no excuses. We need to find it quick. Obviously, we're not going to meet again for a couple of months, but the World Cup's going to come around really fast. So every camp is really important, right?
Well, Senegal are in form and they've not lost a game since January 2024, and they've actually been on a very good run as they ended up beating England in that friendly game. But their captain, Kalidou Koulibaly, believes that this hot run of form will also help them boost their confidence ahead of the 2026 World Cup.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe I will let all the supporters and the people who watch the game tell it. But I think that we make a good game. We have the good spirit. We wanted to show that we have obviously the talent to play at this level, and we showed a good game today. Because I think the last time we played against England, we lost 3-0. It was a little pity, but tonight we showed that we are a good team and it's good for the future.
And what does this mean to make history? Your first ever win over England?
Yes, it's very good for us, but we know that in September we have a lot of important games for the qualification of the World Cup, so it's good for the confidence for us that we know that we can do something good at this level and to show that we deserve to go World Cup.
That was Kalidou Koulibaly, the speaker and captain of Senegal. Let's do some more stories here and head to England because David Moyes, who is the Everton coach, has been appointed as an officer of the Order of the British Empire, also known as the OBE, by the Prince of Wales. Moyes managed West Ham from 2017 to 2024, and under his tenure, the team secured its first ever major trophy in 43 years, winning the 2023 Europa Conference League. He managed Everton from 2002 to 2013 and returned to the Merseyside team in January 2025. The ex-Celtics player, credited with steering the Merseyside club away from relegation last season, has set his sights on returning Everton to European competition. The Toffees' last European outing was in the 2017-2018 Europa League, where they were eliminated in the group stages of the competition.
I think that we'll secure the ones who we really want to secure, and we'll make sure that they're here. And obviously, we know that we're going to have to start bringing in some new players as well. That's obvious. I mean, it's sort of unprecedented that we would have sort of 11 or 12 players out of contract, but because of the club's situation, it's been in over the last couple of years. This is where it's led to. So it's just about over. We see, hopefully, this is the problem's just about over. We have to get through this window, and and hopefully try and do as well as we have actually done in the last 4 or 5 months, because the players done brilliantly well.
You mentioned being given time. It's obviously early in the Everton project, new stadium. What do you think's realistic though for next season? What can the fans expect?
Well, probably one of the reasons I'm here is because of the success we had at West Ham and winning a European trophy for West Ham. I can't guarantee or say that we're going to do that, but I'm getting too old now just to sort of skirt round the sides. I really want to try and say that we're going to see if we can challenge to get back to Europe. That's a big ask, but we were there before, so why should we not try it again?
So that was David Moyes. Lastly, before we go, let's do some transfer news where a new Manchester City signing, Tijani Rangers from AC Milan, has been included in the Citizens squad for the upcoming Club World Cup in the United States. The Dutchman joins Manchester City on a 5-year deal after being awarded as the best Serie A midfielder for the 2024-2025 season. A 26-year-old explains why he chose to join Manchester City.
No, it's a big step, and we are really excited to start here. Yeah, everybody knows how Manchester City is playing in general, with the playing style Manchester City is playing, being dominant on the pitch against the opponents, and playing attacking football, and that's what suits me the best. I'm like a box-to-box midfielder who likes to join the build-up from the back, and eventually to feed the attackers and create chances, and also trying to score a goal by myself sometimes, yes.
So that is Tijani Rangers, who joins Manchester City for the Club World Cup. Ryan Cherki also is part of the squad, as well as Ryan Ait-Nouri and Betty Martinelli, who was also bought from Chelsea. That was on Wednesday. And so the squads have been submitted ahead of the tournament that starts this Sunday. You can get more updates on that and more on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
Get ready, Ghana. The road is calling. The wheels are spinning. It's the 3FM Tour du Ghana, happening Saturday, 21st June, 2025. From the heart of Accra to the border town of Aflao, we are paddling for the planet in a thrilling 192-kilometer ride across Ghana's scenic Eastern Corridor. Whether you're a scenic cyclist or a passionate paddle pusher, it's your moment to shine. Form your teams.
still live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Now, former Finance Minister Kenneth Oforiatta is facing deepening legal troubles as both the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and the National Intelligence Bureau have declared him a wanted man. Now, the two state agencies have reportedly launched separate active investigations into Oforiatta's financial dealings during his tenure as finance minister, signaling an escalation in the scrutiny surrounding his stewardship of the public purse. Now, the director in charge of strategy, Research and Communication Division of the Office of Special Prosecutor Samuel Appiah-Darko gave a hint of this on Key Point on TV3.
When the person has been placed under arrest properly, so-called.
Right.
And let me also address the little issue about trial in absentia. If you study our Constitution very well, Article 19.3 details how trial in absentia should happen. And the conditions are about two. It says that when a person, an accused, when we say an accused, it means that you have been arrested, charged, has a disruptive behavior, such that placing before the court will disrupt proceedings, or if the person, having been charged, that is, the accused, being placed before court, elects not to come to court at all. So there's a popular case called Kwache, that is the Republic, which is like the case on it even ended at Court of Appeal. The whole idea is that the person must be tried in his presence, unless that person facing trial elects to say, I don't want to attend the trial, right? But we also do know that, how about if, so that's why it will even take international court. And it's the same principle across international court of human rights matters. If you take the ICC, for instance, why do you think that they issue arrest warrants for people and put them on Interpol, heads of state, former heads of state? Why? Because they could try them in absentia. So why don't they try them in absentia? But they still insist that they should have been arrested and brought. So if you say Slovakic, Milan Slovakic, one of the presidents, after he had been arrested and placed before the ICC, he then elected and said, I won't come to court again. Then they decided to try him in absentia. Why is it a win to me? They not tell Yoko that you have evidence against me, I'll go to court and try me. You don't need me. Why is that today Ghana police have arrested several people, hundreds of people? Why are they not telling Ghana police that, oh, please, if you have evidence against me, go to court and start the process. I don't want to come there. Please, it is not so. Let's not, in our haste of trying to still pin an error on an agency. Agencies are not perfect, but rules are rules, laws are laws. And the OSP has tried to abide by the law. Now, let me address this issue by Oforiatta in terms of whether they brought us a medical report or not. Ken Oforiatta, as we speak today, has not brought us any medical report.
Samuel Appiah-Darko, Director of Strategy, Research and Communication Division of the Office of Special Prosecutor, speaking there. Today is day one of the BCE, and we touch base with the Ashanti region as monitoring starts right from there. One candidate writing this year's basic education certificate examination at the Duampompa BMA Junior High School in the Joba municipality of the Ashanti region has allegedly abandoned the exam to engage in illegal mining, known in local parlance as galamsey. The municipal chief executive, Eunice Ohenewa Anso, says she would investigate the matter. Take a listen.
This of illegal mining is growing at an alarming rate. This is the second disturbing report about a student who has jettisoned the classroom for illegal mining. At the Duampompo MAGHS, one of the eligible BEC candidates abandoned the examination for illegal mining, also known as galamsey. A teacher at the school disclosed this to the news team. According to the teacher, the candidate, Prince Owusu, told him he was going to look for money. Municipal Education Director of Jabin, Phyllis Boateng, confirmed the candidate's absence.
He registered, but after that, he traveled from the town. He stopped coming to school.
MC for Jabin, Eunice Ohenewa Anso, said The matter will be investigated.
Yet to find out, because the headmaster was also going around. So when we get to the office, we called to find out.
In May, a similar story was told from Intinanko, a community in the Bekwai municipality, where about 40 children have abandoned the classroom for the pit. A total of 1,465 eligible candidates from 9 private and 34 public schools are currently writing the BECE. 757 of the candidates are males, with 708 females. Prince Owusu, however, failed to sit for the BECE.
That ends it for Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and on W93.5 in Y and beyond. There's more news on 3news.com. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the team, we do appreciate your company. The drive continues. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a great evening.